And don't forget to email us at georgiagang@myfoxatlanta.com. Last week's broadcast set a record for the number of emails, about 35, most of them wondering where you two were. And how dare we have 3 conservatives and a moderate.
3 conservatives.
People were very upset about that. Your friends, your fans.
a lot of people spoke to me.
Of course, my emails were all in favor of what we did.
There was also a little racial tilt there, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was. There was.
You all talked about Skip Gates.
No, we didn't talk about that. We had to make a choice between. We had to make a choice between an all-male panel, or having a black panelist or whatever, and so we opted to have a woman, Orit Sklar, and to get a little balance into it. However, she's as conservative as I am, so it worked out.
Phil was saying that he felt very moderate around her.
A lot of my fans said that it wasn't much disagreement around the table.
No, there was very little disagreement, which was unfortunate. But I think we'll have some disagreement here. Phil, my friend here, has been saying for at least 2 years that crime in the city of Atlanta is out of control, that it's underreported, that the police chief is a no-show. And you were kind of echoed by city councilman like C.T. Martin this week, who said that the chief is checked out. And he had to have that's the first time you've ever agreed with C.T. Martin on anything.
That's right.
And Chief Pennington and Mayor Franklin actually went before the press and tried to offer some solutions. But I think we should note that there have been a lot of high-profile crimes. I mean, when you have an Olympic boxer, a world champion, Vernon Forrest, in a carjacking, shot and killed, when you have Caesar Mitchell, a councilman who's running for the city council presidency, he becomes a crime victim, following on Lisa Borders, the president of the city council.
Another murder Thursday night.
Yeah, and then all that stuff around Georgia Tech. You were right. And it's interesting.
Well,
crime may be, crimes, I think it's, listen to this statistic.
There's certain pockets.
Listen to one, yeah, that's right. But one statistic is worth studying a little bit, because while overall crime is down, assaults downtown are up 50%.
Well, Zone 5 is what we look at. Midtown, I mean, you've got murder, rape, and assaults up, and there's no reason for that. As I've said before, and you know this too, we need better policing. And I do agree with Councilman Martin. I mean, for the last 2 years, where has Chief Pennington been at these community meetings, whether it's
he's prepared. He's always out of town when something big happens.
He is always out of town. And he's announcing he's gone, thank goodness.
The good news is that their federal funds have come down, and immediately we're going to get 50 new police officers on the street, and then there's going to be another 70 or so who are going to be in place by, trained and in place by the first quarter.
Alexis, let me point out. Let me point out, 49 policemen have left since January. They're tired of the lack of leadership. They want better pay. They're going to better departments. So
and also the furloughs did not help either. So it's been a tough period. We've talked for a long time
about trying to get to 2,000. I remember talking about getting to 2,000 in 2000. That was almost 10 years ago. It did not happen then. It has not happened. It's been a priority of the Franklin administration. It has not happened. In the meantime, since 2004, you've had 1/3 of the police officers leave after being on the force for less than a year. And with that kind of turnover, it's just really tough to hang on to police officers here. You're training them, and so you're incurring that huge expense of training police officers, which has got to be exorbitant.
And then they turn around,
right?
And you're training them for other jurisdictions, and then they turn around and they go to Gwinnett or Cobb or someplace. And so I think that we have to consider that in this context. Plus the fact that you've got changing demographics in the city, a changed economy, people more desperate, and you put all of those ingredients together, and you're going to have more crime, and you're going to have more, you're going to have more victims like Caesar Mitchell and Lisa Borders.
Well, that COPS program, which the Obama administration is doing as part of the stimulus package, that's just like what Bill Clinton did, where you get to hire a bunch of cops with federal funds for 3 years, then the taxpayers have to pick up the burden. Right. So those jurisdictions that are taking these new officers ought to be cognizant of that the budgets are going to grow.
But I think it's right now they just really don't have a choice. This is the way that they can get some more cops on the street. And now with the new city budget in place, they've been able to eliminate the furloughs, and so they can implement these new programs, which the mayor and the chief announced at a press conference on Thursday.
They announced they're going after gangs. Did they just discover there was a gang problem?
No.
We've had this for the last 6 years. In fact, if you want to have a model, go right over to DeKalb County, where you've got District Attorney Gwen Fleming. Her unit and office just won a gang fighting award. I mean, I think Pennington and Shirley Franklin could take a lesson from right there in DeKalb County.
I don't think they see it as this is something new. This is a new initiative, but they've always had focus. And in fact, all the way back to Eldrin Bell, he had big red dog.
Let me ask you all something, because Caesar Mitchell, who's running for city council president, city councilman, is proposing a daytime curfew. Now, I feel kind of out of it here. 8 to 2 p.m. he's proposing this curfew when kids, I guess, are supposed to be in school. But first of all, that shouldn't truant officers be doing that?
Well, and
but isn't the crime happening at night? Wouldn't we be better off with a nighttime curfew of some kind? I don't get this
I think
daytime
there
curfew
is a
for teens.
nighttime curfew in place already, but
Can we do more
I don't know.
midnight basketball?
Well, Clinton did that. Yeah, we can,
Well,
we
and
can do
like
some of that.
Did that
has
work?
called for reopening rec centers and things like that. I mean, those kinds of things are important in this kind of an economy.
But I just don't see that a daytime curfew. The council's going to take that up this coming week, and I just don't see that that's useful.
I'm not sure that I've seen reports where truancy, I don't know, has been a real issue. I know kids ditch school, but maybe that's what they're
All
trying
the
to.
crime we're talking about, these high-profile crimes,
Yeah.
have occurred late at night.
That's
right.
And that's that thing that they always say. Your mother told you. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. We talked about that with the bar stuff.
By the way, a real quick footnote, it's good to see that Scott Crayer, the head of the Atlanta Police Union, is back to work. And, Fulton DA Paul Howard has told the mayor he's not going to prosecute him for this so-called threat that he made
What's
against
not
the
a
mayor.
so-called threat?
I was speaking metaphorically.
Oh, metaphorically.
Yes.
Mhm,
All right.
good.